afternoon and welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Denise Rolark Barnes, and we're on Let's Talk on Win TV on YouTube. I'm glad that you all are with us. And as you tune in today, I hope that you will spread the word about sharing this broadcast on your social media channels and follow the Washington Informer on all of your social platforms. James Wright, business reporter, but also historian and who does so many other amazing stories about community news. And I know James, as a reporter who covers business, the president was out the other day talking about how he, safe the streets are, and he went to a restaurant that was 2 blocks from the White House and talked about how, he could have never done this a year ago, which we know is not true. But at any rate, but but all of this has impacted businesses. And, I know that there are businesses in the community. I'm going to know what the feedback has been that you've received with regards to, how this federal takeover has really impacted businesses and foot traffic going into restaurants and what have you. And Brenda, I think I want you to weigh in on that as well. But what have you seen or what have you heard, James?
What I have, this has been a big surprise to me. It's mixed. I was expecting business leaders and entrepreneurs to say that this is terrible for business. This is foot traffic is coming down, but some actually embrace this. You got Samara Lee Banks at Lee's Flowers at Union Station. She embraces the National Guard being there, saying that she feels safer. You got Mark Barnes at the park on 14th Street saying that his customers are not complaining as much about their cars being broken into. And yet you got Chad's Liquor who's saying that this is really a problem. So it's a mixed bag in terms of businesses. And I will say that the foot traffic really depends on the neighborhood, but the foot traffic has declined. Even Garen Price of the Downtown Bid has admitted that.
Well, I know that there are, also businesses, and I'll get to you one second, Brenda, who have depended on government contracts, relationships with the local and federal government, all that. A lot of that has dried up. I'm wondering if you've had any testimonials, James, about people who have not only lost business, but also lost, consequently, having to reduce their staffs. I mean, have you talked to any of folks like that? Any business?
Yes. Let me say this, and I can't name names, but people in the business community are scared to death because this new Trump administration has decided that minority businesses are not a priority anymore. And as a result, they've had cutbacks in staff. They've had to cut back programs. They've had to raise prices in terms to meet the cost threshold. This has really had an impact because it's funny because Trump is a Republican and Republicans are supposed to be pro-business, whether it be small business or large business, and yet he's hurting minority businesses at this particular time. Denise.
Yes, James.
Denise, I think, however, there's an opportunity here, particularly for the Bowser administration. Given the Trump cutbacks, the economy here in the city needs to diversify. It's got to go beyond being just a government town. And ever since the mayor took office 10 years ago, she has been working on diversifying the economy. She's really put a focus on entertainment and the arts. And as I look at Brenda Seiler, I think about the arts and the theater and developing this city as a creative hub, but also as a tech hub. And she is working very hard and has gotten recognition in terms of bringing high-tech companies to the city. And this is going to be the key. And this is what they should be working on in the next few months, dealing with trying to develop the city into a more diverse in terms of industries instead of just being dependent on the government. The HUD Secretary, Scott Turner, made it very clear that he's not interested in any program to help Black homeowners. Mm-hmm. And he was very blunt about that. And he talked about he's up for all Americans. He's for Indian Americans, Asian Americans, Democrats, Republicans, saved, unsaved, all that beautiful language. But Stacey, he was very clear. I'm not interested in any program to help specifically Black homeowners.
Right.
He
There's the
wants to
house
help
Negro in
everybody.
the field.
James, as a business reporter, are you finding that local businesses or others, are either more willing to talk to you now? What is the theme that you're hearing from them that, that might be missing in media? How can we deliver more of what they may need? Or are they talking to you about that?
Well, when I do talk to businesses about media, they want more. They want more publicity. They want more profiles. They want people to know that they're existing, that they're doing well, or they're barely making it. But they want people to know that they exist, and they want people to know that they are functioning. In terms of what we can do for them, is just to stay out there and try to do the best that we can, and to go along with Stacy's point, get them to support us too. The small business doesn't have to buy the full page ad, or doesn't have to get a big, I don't know what you call them, ad on the website, but they can support us in other ways. And I think that they want to, but it's just such a thing in terms of getting them to think along those lines.
Oh, there's
Denise,
two
let me say
things.
this.
Oh, okay.
No, I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say this, Denise. We will get through this. I know Sam and Richard don't remember this, and I'm dating myself, but there was a president by the name of Ronald Reagan that I endured for 8 years. Free South Africa, that sort of thing. And so the young people got to understand that we will get through this. We have to work at it, but we'll get through this, and we will be victorious, because we've been victorious for 400 years, and we will be victorious through this stuff. Oh, I love hearing that jingle, the Washington Informer jingle. Hello, this is James Wright, the business reporter for the Washington Informer, and we are about to tape a segment of Let's Present Live. My guest will be new author and entrepreneur Ben Ali of the, yes, you've heard it, the Ben's Chili Bowl franchise that is very well known in the DMV and indeed the whole wide world. Mr. Ali, I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Are you ready?
Hey, James, ready for you, buddy.
Excited Fantastic.
To be. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for attending. You have written a book, Ascend. Basically, you can name the title Ascend, the Black Man's Guide to Education, Elevation, Success and Purpose. Ben, why did you decide to write a book?
James, I am on a new journey here. I've kind of retired from the day-to-day of Ben's Chili Bowl operations. I'm still involved, of course, in the family business, but I saw such a great need with the young men out here. We've had 3 young men who were killed, with gun violence here, who worked at Ben's Chili Bowl over the years. I had a first cousin also killed from gun violence. And I'm just sick and tired of seeing the kids and the young people, the young men, not living their best lives, not achieving their full potential. I see no reason for it. And when I analyze how could I help, my dad was a great mentor for me. He was a great speaker and a great coach and a great motivator. And he took a course years ago called Success Motivation Institute in Waco, Texas. And he came back and taught us life principles. And I said, you know what? Some of these young men have not had a father figure, a mentor, the right teachers or educators or people in their lives to really sit down and teach them. And I said, if I just sit down and teach them and they see the beauty that's inside of them, their full potential, that they too can elevate, they too can be successful, they too can find their purpose. And so that's why I wrote the book.
I read the book. I was pleasantly surprised. Why did you write the book in the manner that you did? And let me explain to the viewers. This is not your typical book about, I woke up and went with my dad to go get some ice, or I went with my dad to deliver hot dogs or to make hot dogs. Your book is, as you kind of alluded to it a second ago, motivational oriented. Why did you decide to write that kind of a book?
Well, what I really wanted to to do is impact young men's lives. And when I thought about it, I said, what is going to impact their lives? What are the principles that my dad taught me that I've used in my life? And I came up with a game plan, a guidebook, right? So every chapter is a step-by-step process. And what we're talking about here, James, is really a mindset shift, right? We all have a supercomputer in our head. I tell the kids they have a supercomputer in your head. It's the same model as everyone else has. It's no Michael Jordan, Oprah, Elon Musk. Nobody has a different model from you. We all have a supercomputer brain. And what is the difference between, a person making $1,000 a day, a person making $1 million? What's the difference? It's really your outlook, your thinking, your program. What program is running in your head? And so I said, how can I alter the program that's running in their heads? How can we have a mindset shift, right? Everything is mind. How do we change that? Well, it's a step-by-step process, and it's no different from when you're working on your body. The coach tells you how many sit-ups are we doing today? How many push-ups are we doing? What's our diet regimen going to be? How much sleep do you need? There's a process to this. Take some patience, take some work, but there's a process to it. But no one's talking about this process. No one's talking about the elements that are involved in changing your mindset to change your life.
One of your first major chapter is let go, let God. And that kind of struck with me because it struck with me on a personal level, because at one time in my life, I just held grudges. And I just wouldn't let go of stuff. I would go back 10 years of when you disrespected me, or I thought I was disrespected 10 years ago about this, and that. But you told us in that chapter to let it go. Why did you decide to put that in the book? And number two, why is that important in period?
Right. Because imagine how many kids are hurting, how many kids have experienced trauma, seen things they should never have seen in life, been exposed to violence, guns, drugs, so much negativity. And all that negativity weighs you down, beats you down, and you lose confidence in yourself. You lose confidence in the world. And so in order to move forward positively, you must first heal. So that healing journey, let go, let God, is about healing. And we all have something to heal from. Some people have it way worse than others, but we all have something to heal from. We as Black men carry with us hurt and pain and trauma from our ancestors. What was done to our ancestors years ago, there's traces of that in our DNA. And so all of us need to let go of our pain. And guess what? Some of that pain, James, is pain that we've caused ourselves. So we have to forgive ourselves, right? We have to forgive anyone that hurt us, anything that we've done, anything that someone's done to us, any wrongs done to us. And they're real things. People have experienced, all kind of abuse and rape, or, who knows what people have experienced. But at the end of the day, how are you going to move forward positively carrying that baggage with you? It's like being tied to a tree, right? And trying to move forward at the same time. Every time you look back, every time you blame, every time you say, but I don't trust, every time you're weighing back on those things, it's tying you down, and you got to cut that cord and let go. And it's not easy, but it can be done with repeated affirmations. I mean, I'm not a professional counselor. Go to your counselor, go to your therapist, whatever you need on that end, but there's also spiritual healing, right? James, we are all energetic beings. There's a physical healing. So when you start tying together the universal truths of life, as I call them, I didn't make all of this stuff up. These are universal truths of life. And you can get healing and learning from the Bible. You can get it from the Quran. You can get it from your grandma. You can find it in nature. There are many ways to do it. So as an example, I went into a church service, a big church service at Zion Baptist with Pastor Battle over there, who wrote the foreword for my book, by the way.
Right.
Yes. And I experienced what was true music ministry. When you're in that music ministry, when you're hearing that choir, blaring, and you're seeing the words up there, and the music is in your soul, and it's really resonating within you. And I was in that environment, and I said, God, take this pain from me, take this hurt, take these wrongs that have been done to me, take the wrongs that I have done. I'm giving them back to you, God. And I said, you felt it, you feel it physically, you feel it spiritually. And it's like a weight lifted from your shoulders. Imagine doing that every day for 30 days. Imagine doing it every day for 60 days if maybe you need to. Bit by bit, you'll feel that pressure relieved from you. You'll feel that burden relieved. And now you're able to start moving forward positively, and you'll find all kind of new results out here for yourself.
You also have a chapter on gratitude. Why did you decide to talk about gratitude and how important gratitude is? And I have a saying, and you can comment on this, and I've heard this saying, that attitude, not aptitude, determines your altitude. Now, you didn't say that exactly in your book, but you kind of danced around it because it's a unique saying. Could you talk about that?
Yes. You know, how do you have a great day? Right? How do you have a great day? If your attitude is right, your expectations are right, you're setting yourself up for a great day. You see, James, what I'm trying to teach the kids is that they control themselves. When I say that who controls your thoughts? They say, well, Mr. Ben, I do. Well, who controls your emotions? Because you said he made you mad and she made you do something. Oh, I guess I do. Well, who controls your actions? I do. Well, then who controls your results, good or bad? You do, right? So you are in control here. You're in control. So you're mainly in control of your attitude. When you wake up and you decide it's going to be a good day and you use your attitude adjustment techniques, right? You use attitude adjustment. You may wake up and feel a little surly. You may feel a little grumbly. But if you say, you know what, let me think about it. A lot of people didn't wake up today. There are people who had a car accident yesterday and lost their leg. There are people who lost their mom yesterday. There are people who are in the burn unit, the cancer unit, the paraplegic unit. And when you start to put it in perspective and you see just how blessed we are, just how grateful we should be for just being alive. And everything else is an extra. You got food on the table. You know, you got somebody who cares about you. All these are blessings. There's so many blessings that we have and we take them for granted, right? We take them for granted. And when you don't take them for granted and you're truly appreciative, every day is going to be a great day and you're on your way to success.
Another chapter I really want to comment on is on teamwork. And I really liked what you said about teamwork. It's the saying, teamwork makes the dream work. We live in a culture, Ben, where rugged individualism is celebrated. If Elon Musk made $1 billion, it's because he did it. If Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post and Amazon and et cetera, it's because he did it. But you're telling us that it's a team effort. Why is teamwork important? And why is it important for your readers to understand the importance of teamwork?
Yes, great point. There's no Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen, right? That's just how it works. And so when you say, you're capable of tremendous accomplishments, but no one person can accomplish what a team can accomplish, what hundreds of people or thousands of people can accomplish. And so you have to recognize we all have a team, but it's up to you to identify your team, to work with your team. Who really supports you? Who are the people who care about you? Right? We all need each other. We're not lone wolves. We all need each other to survive and especially to thrive. And so when you recognize that and you say, who is on my team? I need people. And not only do I need people to support me emotionally, I need people in my life for core duties. Like I need a lawyer. I need a doctor. I need specialists on my team, right? For certain skill sets that I don't possess. I can be a bad man, but I can't do everything. So we all need that team. We need a spiritual team, right? Whether it's our pastor or people in our lives who pray for us. So when you put these things together, you need a friend group, right? You need what I call, every business has a board of directors. Mm-hmm. What is the purpose of that board of directors? It's to see your blind spots, right? It's to help you to get a more clear and a complete, picture of things so that you can move the ball forward.
This is fantastic. Thank you, Ben Ali, for spending a few moments with you to talk about your book. And let me just say to the audience that I will be a part of a panel discussion on Friday on Let's Talk in terms of talking about the federal government shutdown.
And I'm going to bring on James Wright because James did a story, an article in our financial literacy issue this week. I forgot, what is the name of it? James, you did, you and Richard did an article together, which I thought was really timely. You want to talk about that? What else is happening in the county or in the district, Richard or James, that you know of that we think we need to let our viewers know about? James?
Well, This is a very interesting period that we're entering into, because now that we've built this huge stadium has been approved for the Washington Commanders. Many people are getting excited saying Commanders football. But the question is now seeping as I talk to people, is that how is this going to benefit businesses in the district? For example, will CBEs, which is certified business enterprises, many of them who are black owned or owned by people of color, will they have access to the contracts in terms of building that huge stadium? But more importantly, along with that, the infrastructure around that, as well as the businesses that will be created as a result of that. And so the question is that will these CBEs have a chance to participate? Those particular CBEs, I'm not talking about Clark Construction and Douglas Development. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about small and minority businesses have a chance to compete for those contracts and get those contracts in terms of that huge stadium, which will be here in 2030. And 2030 is coming very, very quickly.
And what about James? When Trump came into office, one of the things that he wanted to see was more of these government workers, the ones that are left, coming back into these jobs. You mentioned it earlier in downtown DC. However, if you go into the city, which into downtown DC, where I was yesterday, looking out of one window into windows across from the building where I was situated, I'm still seeing floors, empty floors.
Yes.
So is the mayor or the Department of Economic Development or any of those agencies talked about whether we have actually, we see it in traffic. We definitely see it in traffic, but are we seeing it on the streets and in the offices of downtown DC? And what is the city talking about as it relates to?
That's a very astute observation that you made in terms of the office vacancies in downtown Washington. I don't have the exact figure, but it is quite high compared to other metropolitan areas, given the business activity that takes place in the District of Columbia. And that's not a good sign. As a matter of fact, the CFO predicts that before the end of the year, which is not too far, the city itself will enter into a moderate recession. So what does that mean? That means that businesses are not doing as well as Mr. Trump would have you to believe, even though he brought all of these National Guards people here and now says the district is safe. The district has always been safe, relatively speaking. But the point is that we're about to enter this recession as a city. The office vacancies are high. They're getting high, and they're going to get higher because of the cost of actually locating in downtown Washington. You had Garen Price, the president and CEO of the downtown bid, and he's fighting, I won't say fighting, but he's working with the mayor and Nina Albert, who is the deputy mayor of planning and economic development, to try to get businesses to come to downtown DC, because as Mayor Bowser has consistently said, when you build up DC, downtown DC, the rest of the city follows. So this is what's happening with that. I'm glad you make that observation, because it's still, the office vacancy rate is really, really not good in that particular sector.
I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to businesses who are providing, healthcare for their employees who are going to be impacted by that as well. What does that mean? Or are they talking about, what happens going forward in order to provide, healthcare for their employees?
That's a good point. And Richard brought out a ticking time bomb, particularly for many small businesses. Small businesses are struggling in terms of providing health care for their employees, even in a jurisdiction like the District or Maryland that are very, very friendly toward Obamacare. healthcare costs are increasing, and that goes into the bottom line of small businesses. If this proposal is not righted as the one as Richard is talking about, what's going to happen is that many small businesses are just going to have to drop offering their employees health care, and that's not going to be good in terms of retaining marketable employees, and that's going to affect the health of the employees in terms of whether they're able to function or not. And the question is, if that happens, will these jurisdictions, let's say the DC or the state of Maryland, will they provide tax incentives in order to help small businesses keep the health care? And I'm talking about tax incentives, I'm talking about tax credits, things like that. That's an open question, considering we're heading into a recession in DC, not only as a city, but maybe even as a country. So small businesses are really watching this very, very closely.
I also wanted to, in the District of Columbia, we talked to or heard from at the chamber event that there's going to be a program for people who might be on the verge of losing their Medicaid. The district wants to make sure that, local residents don't miss a beat with regard to that. And I don't know if you know anything about that conversation or what the plan is.
Let me just say that the city had to, because of the big ugly bill, I'll call it the big ugly bill. The district had to cut back its coverage of Medicaid recipients here in the city, the district government, and as a result, the Bowser administration had to drop thousands of people who would normally get Medicaid from the Medicaid rolls, and there was a hue and cry about it from our shadow representative Oye to even Christina Henderson, who chairs the committee of the DC Council on Health. And so they've come up with a way of creating a program through DC Health Link, which is sort of like the health care facilitator here in district of the health insurance for people who have been dropped to continue to get Medicaid. That's a solution. Whether that's a long-term solution, Denise, I don't know, but that's a solution. And so that's where we are in terms of Medicaid. Those folks can be covered, but they have to sign up. They have to go through the process of getting to the Medicaid, whereas they didn't have to do that previously.
And I'll just jump in here if I can, Miss Denise.
Yeah, James, on the district side, their Mayor Bowser still continues to be in this love-hate relationship with district residents. I mean, some love her for, just the hard work that she's doing, standing up to the president, keeping the city running, trying to protect, district workers, trying to create housing, looking out for the homeless. I could go on. And some hate her for the same reasons, So, there's a lot of talk about whether not only will Congresswoman Norton make it back to her seat in the Congress, but will Bowser run again? I know she just ran and won and ran, I believe, unopposed. Did she run unopposed this time? Did she run unopposed this last time?
Yeah, Robert White ran against her.
Robert White. Okay, I can't really hear you so well. That's right. Okay, so what does it look like? Right now, she's got a lot of unfinished business, but what's the word on the street?
Well, a lot of people are startled by the fact that she hasn't announced her plans yet. There was talk that she was going to do this in June.
We're losing you, James. So
yeah,
that she was going to run in. She was going to announce in June. She did not. And now people are wondering what is going on here. Now, I've had sources tell me, well, she's eventually going to run and she's going to run and da. And I can't guess to say that she is. My guess is that she is going to run. I've heard of Janice Lewis George is very, 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 very interested in running against her. But to answer your question is that my strong feeling is that she will run for a fourth term. And my sources have told me that this will be her final term.
You know, she's had some great people who stood by her in the administration for many years. Beverly Perry now has announced her, I don't know if it's retirement or resignation. She's going to now go on and back to what she's always done, which is lobbying. And there's some others in the administration that are stepping away. Do you have, for various reasons, I don't know what those reasons are, either new opportunities or new opportunities. Who are some of those folks, James?
Well, you talked about Beverly Perry. I love it when this happens, not just with Bowser, but even with presidential administrations, because I really study this stuff. These government jobs are very demanding. They're demanding on your time. They're demanding on your family. They're demanding to do, period. And there comes a time when you say, okay, I've done enough. I want to go out and make some money. I think that's the situation with Beverly Perry. Beverly Perry was not pushed out. She just decided to opt out and go in a different direction. And that's what you do in these government jobs. I am keeping an eye on people like Nina Albert. I'm keeping an eye on some others to see what they're going to do. I haven't heard any concrete evidence of anybody except Beverly Perry moving on. But there is talk.
Would you happen to know, James, whether the city ever got that $100 billion that Trump or the Congress took away, and we with our budget? What's the status? What's the status of that?
We never got that money.
Okay, all right. And I, here at the Washington Informer, I appreciate what you do. I hope that the viewers who have been following the Washington Informer and following your work really appreciate what you're doing. But also feel free to reach out to any of these individuals, folks, if you're watching, because if there's a story that you have to tell, send it to us. Send it to news, NEWS, at WashingtonInformer.com. We want to hear from you. And we especially want to hear those of you all who might want to who have some testimonials about how you are surviving not only the government shutdown, but as Jada talked about earlier, what's been happening since January with the local workforce. How's it affecting your family, your jobs, your children, education, everything. If there's something that you think we need to know and need to share, please reach out to us at news@WashingtonInformer.com. I want to thank the three of you for being here. Hopefully we'll get Sam on the next time we meet. We will be doing these reporters roundtables periodically. Actually, we'll be doing it again next month. And so your ideas and recommendations will certainly help to shape our conversation. So until then, you all have a great weekend.